We're live.
With that, we'll call to order the December 4th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Supervisors of McCounty Township, and as usual, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, as I've been wont to do, I want to take a few moments just to make sure that we center and make sure that we're in the right space. I heard something today that I thought was important, which is kindness is a choice. First, be kind to yourself before you can be kind to others. As we enter a season where a lot of people are suffering and a lot of people are happy and a lot of people are doing a lot of things, I think it's important to take a moment for all of us. First, give ourselves permission to be kind to ourselves, and then make a directive that we be kind to others. And as we begin the meeting tonight, take a moment just of quiet reflection of grace and gratitude. All right. It's really nice to see everyone came out for Jim Burnell's final meeting tonight. I know that's why everybody's here. Congratulations, Jim. All these people are here just for you, because there's nothing controversial at all on the agenda tonight. So with that, we will start with public hearing. This is a public hearing regarding a zoning ordinance amendment. This is a public hearing regarding a proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding data centers. The Board of Supervisors will not take action during this public hearing. However, the board is scheduled to act on it during an agenda item later in this meeting. I need to make it clear, this public hearing is about the zoning ordinance, the proposed ordinance. If you want to talk about any applications that may or may not have been received by the township, that is not a conversation for tonight. Tonight is only about the ordinance itself. There will be moments of opportunity for questions and comments and concerns about the ordinance, but I will tell you in the nicest way possible, if you ask us or comment about any proposed thing you've seen in the newspaper or read online or anything else, I'm going to kindly, as politely as I can, ask you to refrain from having conversations about that. This is about the ordinance and the ordinance alone. There will be a time and place for those other conversations, which I will remind all the audience and anyone watching online. There is a scheduled zoning hearing with regard to a certain application scheduled for December 16th. That's a week from Tuesday in this room. Right, it's in this room.
Correct.
December 16th, if you want to have comment or concern about anything that has been proposed, there is a hearing for that before the zoning hearing board. That is not tonight. Tonight is just about the ordinance. With that, I'll turn it over to Solicitor Shines.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the audience's benefit, I have received telephone calls from the applicant's attorney. They anticipate requesting a continuance from that December 16th. We had to schedule on that date due to certain statutory requirements. So that may or may not go forward. So the public shouldn't be upset if the applicant comes and requests a continuance. If that would be granted, there would be no testimony on that evening. Having said that, as you said, Mr. Chairman, this is a public hearing to introduce the proposed ordinance, which will regulate data centers. We're here to receive comments and questions related to that. I want to remind the audience that we do have a stenographer here recording everything. So if you come up to the microphone, please introduce yourself, state your address, and speak clearly so that the record can be taken accordingly. For the record, notice of this hearing was published with the Parkland Press in its publications of November 19th and November 26, 2025, in accordance with the standards of the Municipalities Planning Code and the Second Class Township Code. With that, we could move into the ordinance itself. I'll give a brief introduction, and then Meredith can fill in the gaps. But this ordinance has been drafted by Township staff and consultants. We are going through a comprehensive rewrite of the Upper McCounty Township zoning ordinance, and we feel at this time, due to concerns of supervisors and others, that we should address data centers immediately, I guess we could say, ahead of the comprehensive zoning rewrite. So we did craft this ordinance using model ordinances. We use ordinances from other municipalities that have enacted such an ordinance, and have this before you to be later on the agenda for your consideration. Again, this was before the Upper McCounty Township Planning Commission as well as the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. They both received recommendations. The Lehigh Valley Planning Commission did have some comments that would be addressed in the comprehensive rewrite. This is not meant to be an ordinance that's going to be in place. We're going to revisit this during the zoning rewrite, the comprehensive zoning rewrite, but we wanted to get regulations in place now. I'll give you a broad overview of this. The regulations would allow data centers to occur in two zoning districts, which would be the general industrial zoning district and the rural technology zoning district. We then place additional requirements on the zoning ordinance. Meredith, you have those in front of you.
I do. So we added definitions. We added 3 definitions, one for data center, one for data center equipment, and one for sensitive receptor. We also added additional requirements for setbacks, buffers, noise, water and sewer, power supply, and emergency planning. We can get into the details if anybody has any questions about them, but those were the basic additional requirements in and above what is also required in the zoning districts, in the 2 zoning districts that Andrew mentioned.
So if anyone from the board has questions, I know that you're familiar with this. So we could present this in draft form before we pass it along to the planning commissions. But if you have any questions, now's the time to ask.
Sure. Simon?
No, I don't have any questions. Nothing, I'm good for now.
You don't have to reserve. I'll come back to you if you need.
Yeah, I can maybe reserve the right to come back later.
And just, I know the supervisors are aware, but this has been posted on the township website, so the public has been able to view this. And through the notice of this, it also has been posted and made available at the township offices.
So I think what probably makes the most sense, and I don't think, you don't have any comments there at this point. I think what makes the most sense is a show of hands of people who want to ask questions, and then we'll figure out a process to do this. There's more than 2. Okay. You know what I'm going to have to do is I'll just work my way across the room as I would read left to right. So, Scott.
Don't start my 5 minutes yet. So I have, Jasmine, thank you very much for teaching me the process. I have my presentation copies for stenographer and then one for each member of the board. Can I pass those out?
Sure.
Okay. Stenographer. May I approach the bench?
There's no such thing.
Sonny, Jeff, Jim, Bob.
You can spell my name right.
I had to look it up.
Me too.
Okay, so I can start my 5-minute clock now, I guess, but, so I did read the ordinance and
I know that we know your name, but can you?
Oh, I apologize. I'm Scott Keller, I live in Browningsville. Yeah. I'm sorry I missed last month's meeting, I know you guys missed me. I've been working on other stuff. So, I did read the ordinance, it's well written. The only thing I think might be missing is, A lot of data centers use backup generators that emit nasty things. If they use diesel generators, it's more nasty. So I think maybe we should consider now in the future some sort of emissions control, or at least measuring what they emit regularly on a regular cadence to protect us from that. I'm not in the data center for any stretch of the imagination, but I did put together a 6-slide presentation. I apologize to the audience. They can't see it because we're not allowed to show it on the screen up here. But I'll go through this quickly. In the first slide, I show you the Upper Country Township zoning map that we all know and love. There was one RT zone. There are 3 LIL zones. But I didn't just consider, and currently, as you go to the second slide, the use table from the Upper Country Township draft ordinance states that we're currently going to put allow data centers to be built in the RT zone, not in the LIL zones. I didn't just look at the number of zones, I went way beyond that. I looked at the total acreage of the zones, and I looked at the impact of the data centers on the current residents of those geographies. That's what I'm focused on, the people who already live in the RT zone, and now we're going to bring in a data center. As opposed to other zones where there are no residents, and the data center may go in first, and therefore people have the choice or the option to live by a data center or not. I'm not going to go through what data centers, what people like and dislike about data centers. I think that's why we're all here tonight. But if you look on the second slide, what I'm proposing is that we make LIL zones a C and RT zones an N, which means conditional and not permitted. If you look at the third slide, that's a Google Maps shot of the residential properties that surround the perimeter of the RT zone. Currently, right now, without considering future development, 60% of the perimeter of the RT zone has residential properties. 60%. So now you're living there, and now we're going to bring a data center. People are already there. Okay. If you look at the next slide, the biggest LIL zone, Mary, do you have a comment? The biggest LIL zone in the northwest corner, okay, has 20%, 25% of those residents around the perimeter of the LIL zone. Okay. The other 2 LIL zones are very small. One's 25 acres, one's 20 acres. One has 10% residents around the perimeter, and one has 0. The one behind the Coonsville car wash. Okay. If you look at slide 5, that's our table out of our municipal code, chapter 27, part 3, districts. We currently do not allow residential structures in LIL zones. Okay, so what I'm proposing is put the data center where we don't allow residential structures. Right now, we allow residential structures in RT zones. And we're going to say we're going to allow data centers in an RT zone. I think that clashes. And this is just data. We're being very objective about this. If you look at the last slide, which is the conclusions and recommendations, what it says is that we want to make the RT zone a C and the LIL zone, which currently is C and LIL zones an N. We want to swap that. We want to make the RT zone an N and an LIL zone a C. Okay. If you think of all the LIL zones in aggregate, it's 20% more acreage than the RT zone alone. But the impact on the current residents, if you put it in LIL, is much less. I'm trying to give people the choice of whether or not they want to live by a data center. And right now, 60% of the perimeter of the RT zone currently has residents around it. I have that in the yellow line on the colored printouts on slides 3 and 4. The yellow line represents where you have current residential properties right now. In slides 3 and 4. By the way, my data comes from a combination of Google Maps and Lehigh County Parcel Viewer. So the numbers are very accurate. I wouldn't say they're perfect, but pretty good at math, and I come up with those numbers. 60% for the RT zone, 25 to 10% the Ohio zones. And that's, say, you cut me off, Jeff.
No. I'm only doing that because it's gonna be hard to, if all these people are gonna,
I understand.
he asked me.
I got it.
So-
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot my timer.
No, that's
I
okay.
think we have one there, but I don't think in 2 years that I've been here, I've ever asked anybody to use it. So
Okay, well.
we're gonna try to keep everyone to about 5 minutes. Again, it's soft-ish. We're not gonna be mean about it.
Anyway, it's all data, it's all math and data, it's all objective. I'm just telling you what the current situation is, and that's what I'm proposing.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, there was another hand on this side of the room. Yes, sir.
Big crowd of data center fans here. Hey folks, John Pizzetta. I live on Ziegles Church Road, 10237 in Breiningsville. I've been a resident of the Lehigh Valley for the past 22 years, resident of New Country for the past 8 years. Professionally, for the past 18 years, I've been working in construction, operations, and facilities consulting, helping folks reduce operational expenses in new construction and existing buildings. For several years also, I was a firefighter with Lower Saucon, as well as Goodwill Fire Company in Trexlertown. I took a peek at the ordinance, and I thought it could use some beefing up, so I had a number of points that I thought were worth discussing here. I'm going to try to summarize it as best I can. I had a number of points. I think does this go before there's like another meeting on the 16th about with maybe the zoning board?
So the zoning hearing board doesn't enact ordinances. This
Okay.
board does. So this is the only time that we'll be talking about, unless we,
Gotcha.
this particular draft is tonight.
One, as far as who did what consultant helped draft it? May I ask?
Our Meredith, our planning director, as well as with assistance from Andrew, our solicitor, as well as looking at drafts from neighboring townships. I believe South Whitehall Township was one. I believe Moore Township was another.
And teachers. We also worked with our zoning officers.
I didn't know if maybe you talked to a consulting engineer about it. No, sounds like no. Okay. A couple of things, potential gaps in definition and scope issues. The inclusion of cryptocurrency mining was like very broad. Cryptocurrency operations have like a very different noise profile. I think we probably want to impose stricter limits or additional conditions specifically for cryptocurrency operations. That wasn't in there. There's also some ambiguity in the language in the ordinance as far as accessory or secondary use. I can also get you folks a copy of this afterwards. So I see folks taking notes, so thank you for that. So for instance, it excludes like computers incidental to an otherwise permitted use, but it doesn't really clarify what that threshold is. So maybe like a clearer trigger on that, whether it's like electrical load or floor area, that would just help prevent loopholes from where like a larger in-house facility could kind of like slip through there. On energy consumption and grid impact, it looks like we are requiring documentation there as far as analysis ahead of time. I think so, maybe like a load study or like a grid demand study there. But it doesn't, we don't set sustainability or energy efficiency targets or standards. We're just kind of requiring that the study be done. I'd love to see some specific standards. These are like very high demand, high energy consumption facilities. I think we can hold them to a specific standard.
Are you talking about making them a weeds building?
Not necessarily. I mean, that's definitely an option. But you could require a certain EUI, certain energy usage intensity for these facilities. Just because we know there's a significant impact on the grid and for regional energy consumption. So water use, I think we're looking at a water feasibility study. I think the DRPC reviews that. I think that's smart. There's no limit though, or preference for water reuse or non-potable water. I think we could strongly consider asking folks to use a gray water where they're using rain or they're storing water on site in cisterns. That would dramatically reduce water consumption. Water consumption with data is incredibly high. So many of them use evaporative cooling for cooling towers if they're running a hydronic loop. And that, it's great that we're going to study it, but if we can seek to reduce consumption, there's some additional language that could go in there to beef things up. The studies are for pre-approval, so there's no ongoing monitoring requirement. A lot of these data centers should be doing some ongoing monitoring. In fact, many of them probably are anyways. We should, hold them to that and actually require that they submit that data where they have that. I'm running out of time here, but there's an acoustical study requirement, but we don't really, it doesn't really account for low frequency or tonal noise, which is also just as kind of nefarious and unfortunate as high frequency noises. The gentleman before me mentioned backup generators. That could use some beefing up there to ensure that we're not running into any noxious particulate from diesel or natural gas turbines. Let's see, the conditional use I thought made sense. Setbacks were pretty good.
This is your soft reminder, John.
Yeah, thank you. And then emergency response, as far as the fire department has a review, I think that's great. It doesn't really address hazardous materials. So if we have large quantities of lithium-ion batteries on site, I'd want to see like a hazardous materials management plan as well. And I'd like further coordination with emergency planners. I'd love to see more assessments in terms of the economic and fiscal impact of the development as well. I have more, but I'm comfortable just wrapping with that. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for your comments. Appreciate it, John. Sure. This side of the room. My left. Anyone else in this block here? That wasn't a hand, right, Sean?
I'm not allowed to speak anymore.
I know. That's for good reason. So moving to my right then, on this side of the room. Anyone want to come on up?
Robert Kleinsman, 7809 Cross Creek Circle, Briansville. First question, someone asked me this before I came here today. Since the proposal for the air product site has already been brought out, will this ordinance still be applicable to the evaluation since it came after, it's behind the actual proposal?
Right. So that's the one question I'll permit where the two words air products together will be allowed tonight. Andrew, you want me to answer it or you want to answer it?
You can take a shot at it, and if need be, I'll.
Sure. So it's a fairly complicated answer, but it's easy at the same time. Because the proposal was a land development plan and not a strict standalone zoning proposal, what's called the pending ordinance rule does not apply. When you apply for land development, you are locked into the laws of the municipality at the time of the application. So when they applied on November 4th or 5th or 6th or whatever day it was last month, they're locked into whatever the law is at the time of the application. So unfortunately, this ordinance will not apply. There is provisions within our existing zoning ordinance that covers rules and regulations and how they'll have to proceed. But what we're voting on tonight won't apply to them unless they withdraw the application and start over.
This answer was not taken out of your 5 minutes.
All right, and just a couple of quick comments. I see the way it's written here when you're talking about the data center equipment. It obviously puts emphasis on trying to bring the power in off the grid rather than having the on-site power, which is good. And of course, it talks about one of the equipment would be the redundant power. And then we also go on to talk about having the sound study done on the perimeter. And you reference the decibel reading that are in the audience, what is that decibel reading, do you know?
I believe it's 65.
It is.
65? Okay, good, that's what I was hoping for. But do you want to specify that when you're taking that as-built survey, that all equipment is in operation at the time, including all redundant power supplies, if that's what they have? Because most likely, if they have a redundant supply, they're not going to have just one, because if the one fails, so if it's diesel generators or if it is a gas turbine, they could have a few of them. at the
Most
same
of them
time.
have 100% redundant.
Yeah, right, which is what it would be for the power supply. So you want to make sure that's all operating when you do your surveys. And then the only other thing I have is then later on in your agenda, you do talk about after you do the electric power survey that if everything looks infeasible for bringing the power in off the grid, that you're giving an option for an on-site methods to be considered in compliance with township ordinances. Does the township have an ordinance for electric power plant? Because that's what you're talking about. You're not talking about a couple diesels here. You're talking. I worked for PPL for 53 years, okay, in the power generation. You're talking about combustion turbines, combined cycle, something with multiple units, power emission, stacks, cooling towers, most likely mechanical cooling towers.
I'm not gonna take your time on this, the one that I'm currently working on. 4 2-megawatt gens 2 times. So they're still recips, they're not turbines, but they're,
That's
That's
where you're
big.
redundant for 2 megawatt?
yeah, and then that twice, there's 8 of them.
So
But the only
8
needs-
megawatts, I mean, aren't we talking hundreds of megawatts on some of these plants? Isn't that what I've read?
Well, that is on, we're not talking about Air Products or.
Right, yeah, you're not talking about that.
I'm sorry, we're not talking about the 50 megawatt data center,
Mhm.
which is what you'll see in the newspaper. But even that is a big set of engines.
It certainly is.
There are
That's what I'm saying,
several
you're talking about a power
several
generation.
100,000 gallon tanks of diesel fuel in the ground with Vita root systems on them for leakage and inventory management and everything else.
Yeah, if you're talking 4 diesel, 4 2
It's
megawatt
not-
diesels,
It's
yes.
not wrong with the
But in the
Gens.
emissions from the diesel fuel, even if it's clean, 1%, you're
Yeah,
talking.
they're gonna be
your
at 50.
Your nitrogen, you're talking about your sulfur now. But,
Sorry.
but is there a currently township have an ordinance for if they were to have to bring in and basically build a power plant?
I honestly can't answer that right now. I don't know. But what I will tell you, some of the questions and the reason that we're writing a lot of this down is that we're trying to put something in effect right now. I think what's important to remember is what Solicitor Shant said in his introduction, is that all of these things are going to be looked at again as we do the rewrite. And I think there's a huge value today in getting something on the books that allows us to have some control and some directed control on how these things come in. As a conditional use, that's then presenting to us and us giving permission to them if they need to build an electrical power plant on site. And again, this would be something they'd have to come with a proposal in the next 6 months, which I'm not sure what other spaces are available to do this.
Okay, but
Just the reason we're writing this down is I want to make sure that we can answer these questions the next time
right,
they're
because I
asked.
mean, in most cases, an electrical power plant will require more than your data center,
Agreed.
as far as all the noise, the emissions, and everything that goes along with that. And the data center is using the power from the plant, it's not like you consider an electric power plant part of the data center equipment.
Understood.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stick it on this side of the room. Anyone else? Carla, and then we'll go to the edge.
All the diesel in the ground.
Hi, Carla Colangelo, 5535 Kirk Drive, Upper Macungie. Totally out of my depth here. Does this actually work? We can't really hear it back there.
Well, I can hear you better, and helps me.
Yeah, the other presenters obviously know way more than I do. I just want to ask the question on the noise levels air, we didn't really deal with air pollution, but the noise levels in particular, does that cover both normal and emergency operation conditions? Because if the emergency operations are going on when they're running the backup generators, that's a lot more noise, and is that under something to be considered? That's my question.
I wish I could answer the noise ordinance off the back of, in the top of my head. I think that we do have some provisions for emergency circumstances within the noise ordinance, but that's more contemplative of sirens and alarms being announced.
Right.
My guess would be, and it's just a guess, is that if it's running for more than, say, an hour, it's not really an emergency system as much as that's the system going on right now. If it's a noise problem, it's a noise problem.
Okay.
I think the gentleman had a good point to say that when we're running the test, that we should run the study test with all of the equipment running, including the backup generators. So I captured that, but I'm not sure if that's clear in the ordinance. It was all excellent points that are being raised. And maybe that's something we should look at. Yeah, and I think that the point that we're making here is that we're going to probably see this noise ordinance again.
So this data center ordinance again.
I'm sorry, the data center. Well, yeah, okay. Well, you might, again, well, the noise portion of the, because you're bringing up noise, right?
Right.
So that noise, that might come up in the way we handle noise. So maybe I should rephrase that. No, don't feel that much better. But it might come up again too.
Air pollution, is there anything, I didn't see anything about.
So when we get into things like air pollution, when we're drafting, it becomes a state issue more than a municipal issue. We have to be very careful in some of the things that we draft to make sure that we're not entering in fields that we should not. Because if we approve things, if we say that we have to have certain level of emissions, the applicant usually says that's a DEP issue, and I'm not really sure I can argue otherwise. Plus, it puts the obligation on our staff to have an environmental engineer regularly measuring air pollution from the emissions.
It's just that,
It becomes difficult to measure.
yeah.
Understood.
Right, bad air pollution.
For the record, most likely that backup generator is gonna have what they call a SEMS on it, that the state's gonna make them not only monitor but report emissions on a regular basis, even when they run their tests once a month or however often they run it. So they'll keep the tabs on that.
Okay, great. And the very ignorant question here, but the only water that was covered in this is Lehigh County Authority. I assume they never use wells then?
I don't know the answer to that.
Should we
And if
worry about that?
if they're using well water, I think that becomes part of a consideration that the conditional use is gonna have to evaluate, because there are gonna be impacts to neighboring neighbors
Right,
when they're overtaxing a well. So I think that's within the process that we've built for approval of a data center within this draft version of the ordinance. That's something that we could consider and certainly be part of the evidentiary process.
okay.
I hate to bring, I'll stop for time. One of the cooling methods that could be deployed is a re-injection well.
Okay.
We have to consider whether we want them to be able to re-inject the warmer water back into the aquifer. They should. Yeah.
Probably.
Sorry, Jeff,
The DEP should.
the ordinance does say something about measuring, knowing where all the wells are within 1,000 feet of the data center, the way it's written down.
Okay. The question is certainly valid, Carla, about making sure that we're protecting neighbors from water consumption.
Right.
So LCA is the one for tapping in issues.
Right.
If there are on-site well issues, which I'm having trouble imagining them saying we're gonna pull from the well if they're using massive amounts of water, it's certainly something that within the conditional use process, it becomes a consideration that we'll have. Within this draft, we may put something together in with the next rewrite that certainly addresses those more specifically.
And I want to add my concern about making sure that we add some requirements for green technology, geothermal, whatever, into the building future, because that only makes sense.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Carl.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Miller. I live at 5946 Daniel Street in the portion of Allentown that's included in Upper Macungie. I will be able to walk my dog to the Air Products data center if it goes through. And my family and I moved relatively recently from the Seattle area, not far away from Microsoft and Amazon's headquarters. And the thing that really baffles me is that these tech giants tend to put their data centers in struggling and undesirable towns. So if you're familiar with Umatilla, Oregon, and Boardman, Oregon, take a look, Google them, let me know if you would like to live there. And, you know, I read in the morning call this morning that Upper Macungie is supposed to double in size by 2050, right?
We read that too.
And so then that's a lot of residents who are going to be shopping for places to live in Upper Macungie. And let me tell you, when I was looking for a house, if I knew that there was going to be a data center walking distance from my home, I would have chosen somewhere else to live. It's a concern not only for energy and water, which has already been mentioned, but if you look at Rolling Stone's report on Boardman, you'll see that data centers condense whatever non-evaporative chemicals are in their water. So we're already getting close to the upper buffer of nitrates in our water system, and those do not evaporate. And so in Boardman, that actually has been contaminating their aquifers, and people have been coming down with things like odd cancers and miscarriages. And that is a huge health problem that we don't want to have in Upper Macungie. We want to keep Upper Macungie a desirable place to live that's growing and thriving, and we want to keep data centers away from our homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate it. Does anyone, I've gone left to right, so we can go back. Anyone at all who wants to add additional comment on the zoning ordinance?
Thank you. Debbie Harley, Cross Free Circle Fund Millions. Is there any provisions already considering in the amendment the impact on traffic as far as access and egress? For the people that live close to this proposal, are you considering how, or not just air products, I know we're not talking about that, but are you considering how construction vehicles and the amount of construction vehicles and noise and traffic buildups will result to residential units nearby any proposed?
So when we do any consideration for any product, traffic is always something that comes up, the amount of vehicles going in and out, and we do have considerations, I believe, at the planning level as well as this level, as to construction included within that. So those considerations, while they may not be in this specific ordinance, they're in the SALDO, the land development, and they're also always before the planning commission and this board, in considering how the generalized impact of any development occurs, whether it's homes or whether in this case it would be a data center.
Research has shown that people have testified where these things exist, that the traffic and the congestion and the noise from oversized vehicles carrying cranes and backhoes can cause great disruption in the communities where these access roads are and where people live. I hope you will consider that. Everybody has addressed other matters, but I don't think you're thinking about, or I hope you will consider the impact it's gonna have on people during a very long construction.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Not sure if this is the right place for this, but I was wondering about whether or not anything like economic
Can you do me a
development.
favor, can you introduce yourself first?
Sorry, Cheryl Lacey, 8231 Kirby Street, Folesville, PA. And I was concerned about whether or not there was anything to cover economic development, or things like education, like if these things come to our area, will we have any mechanism for the locals that live here now to get like potential jobs that are here? And what are they gonna be the trade-offs? Will we actually be getting more job growth by having the data centers here? Or if there's some way we could actually get that into?
Yeah, I'll try to answer.
Okay.
We will have an idea when any proposal comes, they'll indicate as part of the proposal to the previous question about traffic, about how many vehicles are gonna be at the site every day. So we'll have an idea of how many employees will be used. It is very difficult, if not impossible, to require that a business coming in here hire only residents of this township.
Right, but even that, put that aside, like, give the opportunities to improve like partnerships with like local universities, community colleges, and that sort of thing, to actually have programs set
We
up.
work very hard as a township, and I think part of the presentation, if you stick around tonight about the community center, you'll hear how we're working to have all those partnerships grow every day, and having local businesses involved in local partnerships with what we're trying to do for our community. Absolutely, it's an intent and a practice of the township to encourage that. Again, we can't require anything, but we put an awful lot of pressure that all your neighbors are supporting it, you should support it too, and we do that now. Best that we can.
Okay, that was it.
All right, thank you, Sharon, appreciate it. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Hi, Kevin Timberler, 6220 Hilltop Road. First of all, in support of the idea of shifting data center development towards the LIL zoning districts, I would just like to note that I'm not sure of the percentages or anything like that, but significant portions of the existing LIL zoning districts already feature pretty consistent traffic noise from the highways adjoining them. So when we think about the significant impacts from noise from data centers, part of that consideration should be that a significant part of these zones are already featuring a consistent hum of traffic, trucks, horns, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's less of an impact on an area that already features that kind of noise. Second, and I apologize if this is a dumb question, is there any effort within the ordinance to assess what economic activity is going on within one of these data centers? Obviously, we don't know what data is going in and out, but typically when you have a shop, you assess sales tax. When you have employees coming in, you assess income tax. Is the township capturing any of the economic activity going on within the data center, or is it just sort of a black box with a noise coming out of it?
I wanted to be a smart ass, I would say apology accepted for the question, but what I'll say is this: any business that comes in that has employees here, we do capture income tax on those employees, and it's the numbers. I think the number one driver of our tax base is
Close second to RTT.
a close second to the economic driver for our financials is the sales tax. It's the income tax we collect from people who work in Upper Macungie. So encouraging economic job growth in Upper Macungie is important to us. It should be important to every resident. As far as capturing sales tax, if they do internal sales, especially if it's a data center, I'm not sure how we would do that. Certainly a question we can ask. We again have to be careful about some of the questions we can and can't ask.
Township doesn't have sales tax.
And we don't have sales tax, so there's that answer. But we do try to, we inquire and try to collect as much as we possibly can economically for the businesses that come here, while still keeping what we'll talk about tonight, having what I touted at our last meeting, it's the lowest municipal tax rate combined in Lehigh County, which we still have, with no, spoiler alert, we're not raising taxes tonight, so it's gonna stay that way as best we can. So we do try to capture what we can out of these facilities. There's just limits of what we can and can't do.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Anyone else? No, he's dumped in.
Sonny, you reserved your right to ask questions.
No, maybe more comments than questions. I took a lot of notes down here, so first of all, I want to appreciate everybody that came and gave their input. I don't know if we have all the answers today, honestly, I don't think we do. I think that we're gonna we're gonna require some more work on this to take a look at it again, and I personally believe we're not done with this, ordinance amendment. We're probably gonna have to look at it again, because this is a use that's evolving and changing all the time, and frankly, I don't think in this township or in this county, we don't have a lot of experience, so we're all learning. So that's just my comment, and I thought there were a lot of good things that were said that I personally probably need to look at and review. So that's all I have right now. I don't have any additional questions. Just a thank you for all the inputs.
I'm good.
As am I. So unless there are any other questions or concerns or anything from Andrew that I need to be cognizant of?
I was going to summarize a couple points that
Please
that we brought up. Mr. Chairman, you had mentioned, I think a member of the audience had mentioned that this is not permitted, but these would not be permitted by right. It's a conditional use process, which ultimately would be decided by the Board of Supervisors. The applicant would need to meet the requirements of the conditional use, and a lot of the comments and questions that were raised tonight would fall within those requirements. The traffic that would be addressed, the safety, that it would not create a significant public safety hazard, including fire, toxic, or explosive hazards. Stormwater design, it would not significantly or negatively affect the desirable character of an existing residential neighborhood, which would include significant odor or noise nuisance. It's going to involve site planning and certain performance standards that would not have a serious threat on the neighborhood. And you could also, in making any decision, apply certain reasonable conditions on an approval. Secondly, there was a lot of comments about the rural technology district and it being permitted by conditional use there. In drafting this, there is already a data center on the existing rural technology site. We did not want to create nonconformities, which is the reason why that is included. Sonny, you brought up that fact that this is an evolving technology, and yes, we will need to update this and perhaps look at additional zoning districts. While not a decision for you during this hearing, if you would make any amendments to this ordinance as advertised that are significant, such as changing zoning districts, I would caution you that it would need to go back through the process and at least go through another re-advertising period. Lastly, there were some comments on the water source, and if it's a non-public water source, there is, we feel, an extensive study that needs to be done to be certain that it's not impacting the groundwater. I'm certain that LCA would be involved with that. They're very, I'll use the word territorial about their wells and the impact on those and the sphere of influence. So I think that we address it appropriately in this ordinance. There were certainly some valid comments that we'll take note. We have a stenographic record and we'll keep those in mind as we work forward with the comprehensive zoning rewrite.
Andrew, I do have a question that you triggered in my mind. So some of these comments that were raised, I'm wondering if they're not considered minor or maybe a clarification. For example, I think the comment was made about making sure that all the equipment is running when you're doing the noise testing. Is that a change that could be made without causing a problem, or what are your thoughts?
That would most likely fall under the noise ordinance, in my opinion. And I believe I have to go back and look at that and look at the standards, but I believe when we had our staff go through the certifications of that, one of the methodologies that would be used is that they would have to shut down all of their equipment and then get a reading and then start everything back up again. I believe that's the case even with emergency generators. That's the process that to get a correct sound reading, that's what would be required, in my opinion.
So that would include all backup generators and any, basically the peak noise.
Backup generators are not an exemption under the zoning, or an exception under the I'm getting tied up like you did, under the noise ordinance. There are certain exceptions in emergency situations. I would say township sirens or noise or generators are accepted from the provisions of that, but in this instance, it would not be an exception to the noise ordinance. So yes, my opinion is that the
It would-
full capacity of the.
Including the backup
Including
generators, just to be
backup.
clear. So I think that was the gentleman's, from PennDOT was that made the comment. So it would be that we would require that all the equipment, including backup generators, be running in order to
That's
test.
my opinion on that. And again, I did not go through the certification process
Yeah.
of the noise reading and how that's done. But that's my understanding in talking with the staff member, that they would have certain portions turned off and then turned back on to get an accurate reading.
Would it be appropriate just to double check it and make sure that's in there, if that's your understanding already?
I think that would be, as I said, my opinion, that change would most likely result in the re-advertising of.
Okay, that was my initial question. So if we made any changes so there's very little, is there any changes you heard tonight that could be made without re-advertising it? Just as a starting point for,
In my opinion, the ordinance, probably biased because I helped write it, but the ordinance and based on the Upper Macungie Township Planning Commission's recommendation and the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission's recommendation, I feel it's appropriate for action this evening as presented.
okay?
But again, that's for discussion when it comes up on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question about Andrew's comments or? If
I
it's
don't
not
know.
processed, I will wait.
Sure.
Well, you were too excited about that, Jeff, sorry.
Well, but let's, one question will work and we'll go.
One question. I'm not a lawyer, I know there's lawyers up here. My question is on nonconformity. So the statement was made, Andrew, you made a statement that said, there's already a data center in RT, we don't want to create nonconformities. First of all, that data center is so small, nobody even knows it's in there. Now, here's where I'm speaking at a turn. Isn't there a grandfather clause that says the data center is already there? If we write an ordinance that says we move to the LIR zone, you can't keep that guy in there.
It's not that when Andrew talks about non-conformities, it's not really an issue of grandfathering. You're right, they're grandfathered in. It's when we talk about doing other things with existing projects, when they are non-conforming to the existing use, expansion, renovations all become much more difficult to manage, require zoning hearings, require a little bit more of a process. That the goal when you write a zoning ordinance is to avoid nonconformities, so that you're not punishing those people who existed before the ordinance by requiring more red tape should they need to move forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Little? Okay. Thanks, Ty.
Thanks.
Anything else, Sonny?
No, that was the only question.
You good?
I'm good, thank you.
Meredith, do you want to add anything? Okay. With that, unless there are any other comments or questions, we're going to close the public hearing out. So I guess, can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion's been made by Jim Brunello to adjourn the public hearing. Is there a second?
I could second that.
Second by Sonny. All those in favor of closing the public hearing on the ordinance, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Closed. So, 50 some odd minutes into it, we got through it. Thank you all for your patience and cooperation and the questions. As I noted, and as Sonny noted, and as Andrew noted, there's a stenographic record of the hearing, and we were all taking notes. And this is an ongoing process, and we're committed to make this right.
Sorry.
We're all a little bit sick up here, so you have to forgive us. With that, we're moving on to number 3 of the agenda, which is the additions or deletions to the agenda. I do not believe that we have any of those, so we can move to section 4, minutes and financials. I'll make a motion to dispense with the reading of the meeting minutes from November 6th, 2025, general business meeting, and adopt them as presented, authorize the payment of bills for the month of September in the amount of $7,753,816.38. Second, thank you, Jim. Motion's been made, second. Any questions or concerns? None. Move to vote. All those in favor of the motion as issued, or as read, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes. That's it with minutes and financials. We're up to section 5, presentations, and the Kathy Rader Good Citizenship Award, or awards, Kathy.
I'm actually going to let Ryan start off with the awards first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you remember, in March, the board approved township staff to move forward with the creation of a formalized Good Citizenship Award process, named the Kathy Rader Good Citizenship Award. Eligibility was UNT residents who resided in the township for at least 5 years and have demonstrated either exceptional volunteer service, made a positive difference in the lives of fellow citizens, solved problems to better Upper McCundy Township in a positive way, and display honesty, integrity, and service. We received over 13 nominations through March through the end of October, and a team of township staff with representatives from finance, community economic development, recreation, police, public works, and administration selected 3 winners. The award winners will be recognized tonight in the following ways: the certificate of appreciation presented by Kathy Rader, along with a gift certificate that will be valid for an individual resident membership for the Community Lifestyle Center when it comes online in 2026, and have their name and picture on multiple ways in the township website, monthly email blast, e-newsletters, and biannual newsletter. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Jasmine, who is going to give a brief overview of each of our winners, who will then come up and present your certificate by Kathy, and all as a group, we will take one picture. We have a packed agenda tonight, so we'll do one quick picture with the entire group.
Thank you, Ryan. With this, I want to thank everyone who has taken part of this initiative. We as a township have been working hard to be more present and recognize those that are within our community that do make a difference within our community. Stay up to date with everything that we have, because we will be doing this again next year, and there may be other initiatives that may be going on. With that, I have some information on our first recipient, no specific order. This person has shown to be a committed community leader whose professional expertise and volunteer efforts have significantly strengthened service and opportunities for residents of Upper Macungie Township. Through his work at Liquid Interactive, he has supported nonprofits such as United Way, Community Services for Children, and Valley Youth House by improving their digital communication, outreach, and user experience. He is known for uniting organizations, mentoring young professionals, and ensuring that technology serves as a compassionate, accessible tool for families in need. His leadership is rooted in integrity, humility, and a consistent dedication to do what is right, often quietly and without seeking recognition. As both a resident and an active community partner, he embodies the values of good citizenship and has made a lasting positive impact on the township. The first award we're going to be giving today goes to Brett Ludlow. The second recipient we have tonight has dedicated over 50 years to firefighting, progressing from a junior firefighter roles to including fire marshal, teacher, chief, and creator of the Foglesville Station's volunteer program. He is known for being the first to respond to emergencies, often arriving on scene to assist even before other personnel. His lifelong commitment to Upper Macungie is shown not only in his service, but also in his efforts to build and support volunteer training and housing at the station. Even when he ran for public office and did not win, it reflected his willingness to serve the community in any way he could. Those who know and have worked with him have recognized his unmatched dedication, selflessness, and deep impact on the township. Doug Bernard.
That's it. That's a gift.
I know Doug a long, long time.
And our final recipient has spent over 20 years serving Upper Macungie Township as a highly trained and deeply committed firefighter, earning numerous certifications and holding multiple leadership roles across local fire stations and community organizations. Despite working full-time, he consistently responds to emergency and goes out of his ways to help residents, whether assisting stranded teens, searching for lost pets, or clearing neighbors' snow. His leadership includes managing equipment budgets responsibly, supporting the development of stations 56 and 57, and shaping committees that strengthen the township's fire services. His dedication extends to providing medical assistance as an EMT, educating residents through station tours, and inspiring future firefighters both within and beyond the township. Humble and service-driven, he refuses awards or recognitions. Yet his unwavering commitment to protecting and uplifting the community makes him profoundly deserving of this nomination. And this award goes to John Ellerman. And just as was mentioned, we will make sure we get it over to him shortly. If we can have the two recipients, Kathy, and I don't know if the board would want to take a picture, and we can go ahead and have that up there.
Just like John. Show up. Except.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Let's hope we keep moving on that. We are to our second presentation, which is Laura McHugh and the Upper Macungie Township Community Fund update. Laura.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity to share an update on the progress of the Upper Macungie Township Community Fund work. My name is Laura McHugh. I live at 218 Wolf Drive. I'm here as a township resident and as chair of the Community Fund, which is an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated, as you know, to advancing projects that will enrich the lives of township residents. Right now, 100% of our work and effort is entirely focused on the building of the beautiful new community lifestyle center at Grange Park that you can see here on the screen. We had groundbreaking, we did a little history lesson, we had groundbreaking in September of 2024. And there's been an awful lot of work that's happened since then. Lots of construction. Anybody who's driven past it has seen the building quickly taking shape. And we were really overjoyed 2 weeks ago to hold a topping off ceremony to really recognize the great work that's happening and to finish the outfitting of the framework and really celebrate and commemorate that work. So really want to commend the township on how quickly they have built the built the building there, and how well it's been managed in every way. Brian, Emily, Bob, everybody's doing a fabulous job really keeping that going and keeping the momentum in place, which you could imagine is really attractive to private fundraising group like ours that's excited to build community support around this building. While you can't see our work as clearly as you can when you drive past Grange Park. I do want to share that we have been very busy over the past year, throughout 2025, building a full list of community partners who have stepped up to support this project. We started out, Bob, do you have a slide that has, were we able to include the slide? Oh, we had darn it, we sent a slide with all the community partners listed, so I'll make sure to share that out so that you can see that. When we started the project, we had 4 founding partners, verbal or written agreements, and we are continuing to finalize, steward, and fulfill those agreements with our 4 founding partners, which include Air Products, the Both family of companies, the JNL family of companies, and the Valley Health Network, now part of Jefferson Health, as our healthcare partner. We have since added an additional 16 partners who have stepped up, including 12 who have stepped up since our last presentation to this board in June, to provide additional support at a variety of levels, and 10 individual or family gifts. So we are really working to make sure that everyone who wants to participate and support the building and the effort and be a part of this project has that opportunity. We are, thanks to the board of supervisors, adding new board members who continue to support that effort as well. Total commitment to the project to date is $4,381,000, which will be paid out over the course of 10 years. And did I say that number right, Bob? I heard.
I believe so.
4 million, almost $4.4 million in private fundraising. And that will be paid out over the course of 10 years, which all offsets taxpayer dollars, which go toward that project. That is our goal. Every single dollar that we raise, being able to reinvest it into the project. Our first contribution to the project has been made last month, and we are on track to meet or to nearly meet an average of $485,000 per year annual contribution to the project, and this would count as 0 1. So that will be our average annual contribution over the next 10 years. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. And Supervisor Bernal, is this your last meeting? I would be remiss if I didn't personally thank you for your support of the project as well. It's been really extraordinary, and certainly would be where we are today. We are today your project leaders.
Thank you. The other person that is here tonight and probably won't see much is Sean, who was also very instrumental in the community center. So I'd be remiss not to put some of that gratitude on Sean and Kathy as well. So
I talked him into it.
he did.
Sean, I thought we agreed you weren't allowed to talk tonight, so.
And yet he does.
Leaving well before any of us were in the seats today.
Thank you.
I'll just make a note that it's a privilege of mine, my wife, and my family to be an individual donor. I would encourage anyone else who wants to. There certainly is time to jump on that train. It doesn't need to be a massive lump sum at once. You can donate over time. Showing your commitment to the township and to the future of the township, I think is important. It was important for my wife and I and our family. I think it was important for a lot of our other families in the community. There are a number of ways to reach out and contact the community fund. I think we have a link to it on our website to be able to find them. They have a Facebook page. They have a whole team willing and ready to take your money. So if it's something that interests you about being an individual donor, whether it's buy a brick program that might come, or whether it's just have a question about making a donation anonymously or otherwise, it's a source of pride for us to be involved in our community and be involved individually as well as the impact that we make as a group. So the more the merrier. It's important, I think, to be involved, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so. Thank you, Lauren. All right, rolling right along. We are to number 7. Actually, we're skipping number 6 because there are no discussions and updates. 7 is the ordinance. Ordinance 2025-04, the data center zoning ordinance amendment. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think I need to rehash the ordinance. We just had a public hearing in which it was discussed at length. So as I said, at the conclusion of that public hearing, the ordinance has been duly advertised, and in my opinion, it is ready for consideration and action.
Is there a motion? Or should I make it?
Why don't you make it?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-04, which amends the Upper Mackenzie Township zoning ordinance by including definitions and regulations related to data centers.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made, second, questions, concerns, conversations, Sonny?
No, I mean, we've already discussed it quite a bit, so I don't have anything to add.
Anyone from the audience not tired of talking about the data center ordinance yet want to have additional comment here?
Just want to reiterate, since you have a reference in here
Robert,
referring.
why don't you come on up if you don't mind, please? With the millions at home watching on YouTube, make sure we can see it, or at least they can see the back of your head.
Just to reiterate, since you have a statement in here referring to an ordinance for if they go in with a power production facility, electric power generation facility, you get on making sure that you have that before someone else applies and they get grandfathered without having any requirements for power generation. Okay, there are other townships, all Mount Bethel, Mount Bethel townships where they do have power generation facilities that you might want to look at what they have. But you have an exposure right now.
We might be able to close that exposure through the conditional use area part of it, by the impact that generation would cause the site. So we might be able to capture it.
Thank you. Yeah, just to maybe answer a question about the issue being brought up, and it's a reasonable question. There have been situations in the past where we determined that the use needed to be better defined. You know, I think it might, as an example, agri-tainment at one time, where we decided that we need to get that. Would that apply in a case like this? Like if we came back, and I'm not talking about agri-tainment, and I'm just using an example, but if we have a power plant type of use that we would say is not defined in this ordinance. You know where I'm going?
If it's a use that's not defined, then it's up to the zoning officer.
We'll go to zoning.
To interpret it, either find a use that's comparable, or if not, it's a term, so to speak, that's not defined, then you're guided to use a common dictionary, essentially, or the common use of that word.
Could you see that happening in a case like this? Or, I'm just asking for your advice on how what the potential downfall may be.
Regarding an on-site
Power generation plant on this?
I think it depends on what that power generator is. We've looked at some ordinances that dealt with, basically, my understanding is essentially a mini nuclear type plant. And those, all those ordinances are the ones that we looked at, so that they'd be, regulated by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, I believe. So we figured that there would be a higher regulatory body than the township, and they would be the ones regulating that, not necessarily me. I don't know. That's my general understanding of it, or maybe I'm misremembering things.
Well, I hope they're not bringing a nuclear plant in.
I use that term loosely.
I was asking to not use that.
Most likely it's going to be a fossil fire.
I think, Sonny, to Bob's point, is the conditional use process allows us to consider even those things which may not be specifically mentioned. We're allowed to consider health, safety, and welfare impacts on the township and the residents. And if they're proposing a standalone electric or nuclear or thermonuclear or thermo generated or whatever generated power source, that becomes a consideration as part of the application that we are allowed to consider at that point. So even if it's not specifically mentioned, it's part of the consideration, the impact on the community.
And I think there's a lot of great input that was given here, and as we move towards the comprehensive rezone, looking at the rezoning, then maybe we can incorporate some of what we heard today, Meredith. In something a little bit more comprehensive in the future. Right. Okay.
I think that's our intention.
Yeah.
Doing that. And just to capture one answer I gave you during the hearing about the backup for the redundant power capacities for the noise ordinance. The noise requirements under the ordinance says that the applicant shall provide a sound study demonstrating that the data center and data center equipment will conform to the requirements. So if you look at data center equipment, the definition, the redundant power capacity is part of that. So yes, it would need to be both.
It would be the
regular power
backup
and redundant
power
would
as
have
well
to
as
be
the, okay.
turned on.
So that answers that part of the question.
That is captured.
Carla, that answers your specific question, I think, during the public hearing. I don't know if you were able to hear that or not. Okay.
Yeah, that's good news. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Anything else from the community? Seeing none, we'll kind of call question, move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt ordinance 2025-04 regarding data centers, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everybody's comments and contributions again. We're to resolution 2025-41, the 2026 budget adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the last step in the 2026 budget. It's a process that started in July with township staff, went through October with 2 workshop meetings. It was brought forward to the board in November for preliminary review. It's been advertised and it is now ready for adoption. And I'll just say again, there's no tax increases.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-41, adopting the Upper Country Township 2026 final budget. Second.
I'll second.
Sonny, questions or concerns?
No. No questions or concerns.
Jim?
Yes, sir.
I will echo once again to make it clear, there are no tax increases in our budget. There are no fee increases in our budget. We are flat from year to year, and the budget projects a surplus budget even with that service from the bond. So we're in good shape. Questions and concerns from the audience regarding the 2026 budget? Seeing how we can move to a vote, all those in favor of the motion to adopt resolution 2025-41, adopting the 2026 final budget, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Michelle, thank you for you and your team on all the work. Bob, thank you for everything to get this ready. Your time. Resolution B, 2025-42, disposal of township records. Jasmine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a housekeeping item where the Township Municipal Records Manual contains a schedule and procedure for the disposition of records. Each year, the township passes an updated resolution to authorize the destruction of the oldest documents. However, the township will maintain all community development records permanently on a digital file. And we're requesting action on this resolution.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-42, authorizing the disposal of certain township records as per the PA Municipal Records Manual.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
No. Good routine.
Jim?
No, I'm good.
Anyone in the audience have concerns about our record retention? Thank you. Look at Chris McLean, it throws me all off. Such a handsome gentleman. Seeing that we can move to vote, all those in favor of the motion to adopt resolution 2025-42 regarding the disposal of certain township records per the PA Municipal Records Manual, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Resolution 36-43, tax rates effective January 1, 2026. Bob.
Well, that resolution is incorrect.
I assume so, because we're not in the year 3036. Not quite, at least.
25.
So we'll amend that to be resolution 2025-43.
No, it's
Well, it is correct on the screen. It's incorrect on my paper. I apologize, everyone, if I confused you. We'll start over. This is resolution 2025-43, tax rates effective January 1st, 2026. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This goes back to just what I presented with the budget, which is establishing the save rates for next year this year.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-43, setting the tax rates to be levied in the Upper McCutcheon Township effective January 1st, 2026.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
No, just comments. It's good. I'm really pleased that we're able to hold taxes steady for so long. So thank you, Bob and staff, for doing a great job.
Staff does a good job.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I know there are other municipalities in the county that are struggling with tax increases, and it's good to make sure that we're not only maintaining, but we're also running the surplus. So thank you for that work.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Notice I did at the last meeting, at least in 2024, or at least in this year, 2025, we had the lowest combined millage rate of any municipality in Lehigh County. That includes places like Hanover Township that had very low residential taxes. So I think we ought to be proud of the work our staff does to keep our taxes down, and it makes me very proud to be able to have a motion like this and a vote like this. Any questions or concerns on the tax rate from the audience? Perfect. Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of resolution 2025-43, setting the tax rate to be levied upon McCutcheon Township effective January 1st, 2026, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Bob. Resolution 2025-44, docket 2394, American Craft Brewery, 7880 Penn Drive, preliminary final land development. Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The application proposes to construct a 78,110 square foot automated storage and retrieval system, which is ASRS, building at the Sam Adams Brewery property that includes a bridge for conveyance, dock area, and associated site improvements. The project would include the demolition of 3 storage tanks and the relocation of portions of an existing storm drainage system, along with the construction of an electrical room. This application also includes 9 waivers. The original report says 11, 2 were withdrawn. There's also 1 deferral that's included with this, and it's a continuation of a previously granted deferral that was a part of Resolution 2022-19, and it granted the deferral of sidewalks along the I-78 property frontage.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-45, granting preliminary final land development plan approval to docket 2394, American Craft Brewery, ASRS building, including approval of waiver requests number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, and 11. And that deferral 4.I of resolution 2022-19, granting a deferral of construction of sidewalks along the I-78 property frontage be extended, all conditioned on the engineer review letter dated November 19th, 2025. Thank you. Ryan, you want to jump into this one?
So we are in favor of granting approval to all 9 of those waivers, as well as extending the deferral that Meredith mentioned. The plans are clean. The applicant was working with us throughout the whole process, as well as the planning commission. And the applicant is here tonight, as well as their site engineer, if the board had any questions for them.
Tony?
I don't think so. I mean, I just trying to clarify in my own mind that the plan called for sidewalks along I-78 frontage, but how far is that from I-78? Is it inside their property, or it's along I-78?
Well, the northern boundary of their property abuts I-78.
It does.
So previously a deferral was given because I-78 is a limited access highway, so the township is not looking for applicants to construct sidewalk along these.
That's what I thought, but it almost seemed obvious, and I just wanted to make sure it was.
I will say a deferral is appropriate instead of a waiver, just in case a future VZAP ever does show sidewalks or trails along limited access highways. It'll give you guys a chance to call that deferral.
I agree.
Every time I drive past it, I want to walk along the highway. It's beautiful.
This will be at the toe of the slope. You never know.
All right, that's the only reason why I asked. I just wanted to clarify that in my mind.
I just want to confirm, Ryan, that the majority of the waivers that we're talking about are technical engineering waivers with regard to the plan itself, contours.
Correct.
Things on the plan itself that aren't reflective of the substance of the plan, just more technical issues.
Correct. Slopes and storm sewers, underground detention basins, things of that nature.
Just mapping those things rather than it's such a limited site within the greater site.
Some of it is mapping, some of it is engineering based that they have existing conditions that they're tying into and struggle with. So, they're asking for the underground detention basin to be flat instead of 2% slope, where 2% slopes are appropriate for surface basins, things of that nature.
Oh, good.
Anybody from the audience have questions about this plan? Perfect. Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve resolution 2025-45 regarding American Craft Brewery ASRS building, including waiver requests 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, and 11, and continuation of the previous deferral issued part of resolution 2022-19. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. We are up to resolution 2025-45, docket 2395, 6045 Record Lane, preliminary land development plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application proposes the construction of 25 townhouse units on an existing vacant parcel. The plan proposes to access the lot from a private driveway extending from the existing cul-de-sac of Record Lane. The community is intended to be served by both public water and sewer. The plans also include site improvements such as sidewalk, storm sewer, and stormwater management facilities. There were 2 waivers that were previously granted by the board on July 3rd, and this application includes 1 additional deferral. You will notice that in the potential motion that there were comments from the planning commission, and I just wanted to note that those comments that were made were, they pertain to the location, materials, and installation of the walking path, and I can answer any questions that you may have about that.
How do we make a motion first? Yes, we make a motion, so, motion to approve resolution 2025-46, granting approval of 3 waivers to docket number 2413 Nursery Street Townhouses, conditioned upon staff and township review.
We're on record, right?
Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Motion to approve resolution number 2025-45, granting preliminary land development plan approval to docket number 2395, 6045 Ruppert Lane, including approval of deferral request number 3, conditioned on the comments found in the staff and engineering reports dated November 24th, 2025, and November 19th, 2025, respectively, and that the comments made during the course of the October 15th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting regarding the walking paths are addressed to the satisfaction of township solicitor and township engineer.
I'll second that. Ryan?
Yes. As Meredith indicated, there's an additional deferral request tonight. They are asking to defer what I'll call the dry utilities to the final land development design, as UGI, fiber optic, whoever will have their own layout when they get to that point. So we do not take, we are not opposed to that deferral being granted. And then, as Meredith said, if we want to discuss the internal walking path connection to that site that was going to be condemned but then was agreed upon, we could discuss that. But in general, they are linking their internal sidewalk network and their access drives via a mulch path to that strip of land adjacent to Steeplechase. In the future, the township will have easement rights to come in and pave it at their leisure.
And the developer's in conversation with the owner of that land on their own at this point regarding, I know they've done the subsurface, but the above surface conversations are still ongoing.
The subsurface easement has been secured. I am in conversations with the property owner, and I'm continuing this negotiations, but I expect them to be tied up.
Okay. And once we lock those in, once the project has been sufficiently installed, such that there's not a settling issue, is it proposed to maintain it as mulch, or are we going to put macadam down?
That's going to be up to the township internally. The developer is on the hook to install mulch areas for these internal paths. We indicated to and discussed with Scott Faust that we should wait 6 to 12 months for that area to settle, and then it's going to be at the decision of the township at that time.
I do have an additional question, if somebody can answer my question. Sure. So one of the things I noticed, and it was in the conversation here, is that there's sidewalks on access drive A and B, but not on C. And it looks like there is a parking area on C. So I'm wondering if it was intentional to have a parking area with no sidewalk access around that access road.
Yes, the access road is 20 feet wide, the paved width is 20 feet. The drive lane is 16 feet wide. So there will be a white stripe, and there will be a 4-foot area for pedestrians to walk. But it has to be 20 feet wide so that we can get fire trucks through that lane.
Okay, so there's gonna be a place that people can walk safely, they're not parking the car and then sprinting as fast as they can down a roadway to the apartment. So
Right, it's multifunction. In normal circumstances, it'll be reserved for pedestrians. They'll have safe passage to get to those parking spaces, from the overflow parking spaces to the dwellings. But in the event of an emergency, the fire trucks can still pass.
Okay. And there'll be some form of signage or, slow down pedestrian access way markings of some sort in that area.
Yeah, we have pavement markers.
Okay. That's my question. Thank you. I appreciate it. Anything? Sonny?
I guess not. I mean, the mulch path, that's intended to be pretty temporary though, right?
It is
I don't know
intended
how-
to be temporary. They are not required to install this. They have volunteered to do
Okay.
this to assist the township with their connectivity goals. So it is intended to be temporary, but it's also intended so that property owners and homeowners there will know that there is a pathway.
Okay.
Instead of it being lawn and then in 5 years, it's asphalt.
Yeah. I'm just assuming that over the winter time and so forth, it's not gonna be of much use with snow and everything over it, so we're gonna have to.
Well, most trails don't
Yeah.
get snow removal, things of that nature. Right.
Okay.
Sidewalks would obviously, yes.
Sidewalks, but yeah, but the trail. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Questions or comments from the community? Seeing none, we can call question, move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve resolution 2025-45, granting preliminary land development plan approval to document 2395-6045 River Lane, including deferral request number 3, subject to staff and engineer reports dated November 24th, 2025, and November 19th, 2025, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, appreciate it. F, resolution 2025-46, document 2413, Nursery Street Townhouses, 1500 Nursery Street modification request. Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application includes 3 waivers that are before the board tonight, as well as a deferral request that we will be recommending gets tabled and discussed at next month's meeting, but we would like to discuss some of the details of that deferral tonight. The applicant I know is ready to discuss that tonight as well.
All right, why don't I try again with another motion this time? The right one. I had sidewalks and trails on my mind and I got the two confused. I apologize. So a motion to approve resolution number 2025-46, granting approval of 3 waivers to docket number 2413, Nursery Street Townhouses, conditioned upon the staff and township engineering review letters dated November 14th, 2025. Motion to continue consideration of deferral request number 3, docket number 2413, Nursery Street Townhouses, to the January 5th, 2026 meeting.
I'll second that. Well read twice. Good job. Ryan, I guess to the applicant, whoever wants to talk about why, I'm a little confused why it's on and then we're tabling things for next time. Let's talk about what's going on.
Sure. Well, first, we can go through the 3 waivers if you'd like. The first one is just preliminary final waiver, which we recommend approval. The second has to do with the offset of the 2 center lines of their access drives. 150 feet is what's proposed. It's pretty much the maximum that they can install. Previously, this wasn't in front of the board, but access drive B was an emergency access that had bollards blocking it and would be utilized by emergency equipment if needed. The applicant decided to do a different layout, better circulation for traffic, and now it's a full access point. So we're in favor of that waiver access point. We like this layout better. Like I said, they're bound by the northern property line as well as the existing detention basin at Route 100 and Nursery Street. And going a little further into it, previous designations of this street, at some point over the years, this designation has changed from a local street to a collector. They would have been acceptable at 150 feet with the local street. So that's waiver number 2, which we're not opposed to as well. And then waiver number 4 has to do with the manhole depth. They're asking if they can have manholes exceed 14 feet in depth. We're fine with that. We've discussed it with Scott Fauster, Public Works Director. He's not opposed to it either.
It's the same manhole, right?
Yes.
It's what's the standard?
What's the standard?
You said it was extended to 14.
No, 14 feet is the maximum allowable.
Maximum allowable.
They're going a couple feet. I don't remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
A couple feet deeper just because of existing conditions.
So it's not by a lot.
No.
Okay.
And then heading to modification number 3, which is a deferral request that has to do with sidewalk and curb along Route 100. We have seen previous correspondence where the township was not in favor of sidewalk being installed along Route 100 because of some unknowns, and plus it will be a dead-end sidewalk at this time. there is potential for PennDOT widening Route 100 in this area. And then to discuss the VZAP, so the applicant is voluntarily showing easements around the perimeter of their property and along Access Drive B to allow future connectivity for the township. We envision that connectivity connecting to their site where they do have sidewalks as well, basically replacing the sidewalk along Route 100. So we are recommending a deferral. We did have a staff meeting yesterday with the applicant and the developer, or the site engineer and the developer, to discuss options of what we want to see there, what the township wants, what they want to do. And we were discussing at this point to make it clean, a fee in lieu of sidewalk that the township could use at your leisure for connectivity either here or elsewhere in the township, and then circle back to this area when your VZAP focus hits this region.
Could we show that on the drawing? Is this I was looking at the VZAP last night, and I was trying to figure out exactly where we're going with it. But this is just my understanding is right, this is a partial path that leads to a larger walking path to the west. Is that what I'm looking at?
The VZAP itself?
Yeah.
Without having it in front of me, yes, it's supposed to head to the west.
Okay, so it's not just a sidewalk along 100. It happens. It's not a path to nowhere, if you will.
Right.
There is a longer term plan to be able to connect it to a trail.
Correct, but just not directly, immediately parallel to Route 100.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that on the map then, I guess. Can you blow? I think we have to blow that out, or?
Can we show it on the location map, maybe? I know we show the VZAP lines on the location map that's in the packet.
Because, I mean, the way I'm getting at it is I thought it was a good idea to make that trail connection. So I'm not following it, saying that we are just going to make it a fee in lieu of. And
the concern is that if they were to construct this, it would be a sidewalk to nowhere. It would potentially promote crossings at Route 100, not at the signal, to get over to the park or wherever. We do not want to.
Yeah, I don't want that either. I agree with you. But I thought that there was a longer term plan that would not do that. It would.
The VZAP, yes.
Yeah.
But they're not required to build the VZAP. They are providing easements for the township in the future,
right,
to consider connectivity in this area.
So what are the questions in front of us? One is to have a deferral.
So what we are recommending, or will be recommending and discussing with the Planning Commission, is a fee in lieu of for the sidewalk itself, that the township will accept whatever funds are agreed upon and utilized by the township here or elsewhere, and a deferral of the curb. So they will need to rewrite this in the future. That's why we're discussing it tonight, but not acting on it.
Okay, so deferral of the curb, not the deferral of the trail or the sidewalk.
It would be a fee in lieu of, which is basically a waiver of the sidewalk. That's what we are recommending, and we need to discuss with.
Okay, so you want to kick it around for the next meeting?
Yes.
My only concern here is one of future funding. If you're saying it's not part of the VZAP, then that's a different story. But as a general concern, if we have something on the VZAP and we give a waiver, I've heard that can impact our ability to get grant money later when we're asking for money, and we have on the record that we've been giving waivers to items on the VZAP. That's my only concern.
Just to be clear, the fee in lieu of would satisfy the requirements of the ordinance. So it's really not even a waiver or a deferral. They're satisfying. If they would pay a fee that was calculated between the engineers, it would satisfy. My opinion is that it would satisfy the requirements of the ordinance.
Okay, so we would say it wouldn't be considered a waiver in that case.
My opinion would be that it would not be. A waiver would be noted that they're satisfying the requirements by paying a fee.
Yeah, that's my only concern. I don't want
to when we accept trees or fees in lieu of landscaping.
Okay.
They satisfy requirements.
All right, well, that would be my only concern, and if you feel, Andrew, that we're covered there, then, and I guess I'm satisfied, but that was my hang-ups, if you will.
Nothing from me. Anyone in the audience have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the Nursery Street Townhouse waivers, as well as the deferral request that apparently we're not going to actually talk about tonight?
Okay.
Sure. Seeing that, what we'll do is this. I'm going to make a motion. I don't know, Sonny, did you read the motion to consider the deferral request?
I read what was on.
He read both of them.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll take them in reverse order. All those in favor of the motion to continue consideration of deferral request number 3 at docket 2413 Nursery Street to the January 5th, 2026 meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. So that deferral request will be on our January 5th agenda. And then as far as the motion to approve 2025-46, granting approval of the 3 waivers, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Chris, you gotta get on my side. I'm just distracted.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
All right, we are moving on to 9, motion, plus you. Authorizing the township manager to enter an agreement with Quotametrics for the zoning rewrite.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think Meredith's gonna help me on this one, save my voice, but this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the data center ordinance. We are working on a full-blown zoning rewrite. We've hit some stumbles and roadblocks along the way, but we reached out to consultants. We have one that can help us.
Yeah, so we did meet with several consultants, and we have a limited scope. So we're really looking at somebody who can handle the mixed-use districts, the regulations for that, and who is familiar with form-based code, how to write those regulations. And because of that limited scope, we wanted somebody who was very familiar and who we knew would get us past the finish line. And so that's why we reached out to Quotametrics. They completed the zone Allentown, City of Allentown zoning rewrite, and we are familiar with their work, and we really think that they would be an asset and would help us finish the parts that we need to complete.
I'll make a motion to authorize the township manager to enter an agreement with Quotametrics to provide Upper McCutcheon Township staff with assistance to the zoning rewrite. Is there a second?
Okay, I'll second.
Thanks, Sonny. Any questions or concerns? Sonny?
No.
Jim?
No, sir.
I'm good. Anyone from the audience have a question about this? Seeing none, Scott, you gotta stop raising your hand when I ask questions.
Oh, I can itch back my head here.
Don't itch when we have questions.
I'll scratch it down here.
All right, that's fine. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the township manager to enter agreement with Quotametrics, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Motion B, authorizing a cost of living increase for retirees. Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the non-uniform pension plan, there is a small section that does allow retirees to ask for a cost of living adjustment in their retirement benefit. Check with the actuary. An actuarial study would need to be required. So if the board does want to proceed with this request, I need to come back with you to authorize that study. It's on the sidebar. Obviously, there would be an impact on the cost of the pension plan. One of our MMO, or municipal minimum obligation, is calculated. Cost of living is never included in those calculations. But I do have to bring official closure for the request. It needs to come from the board. But I can tell you that myself, being staff, is recommending that we do not go down this path. Pensions are a nice benefit. We have nice municipal pensions, but they are getting costly. And this is the old defined benefit plan, not the new defined contribution.
Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the cost of living increase for current retirees of the non-uniform pension plan. Is there a second for that? Keeping in mind that we phrase motions in the positive, even if we want to vote against them, because it's much easier to record a vote. Way a no is a no, a yes is a yes. Anyone in favor of the motion? We have to take official action. It just sits in indefinite limbo.
It's even hard to second it.
Second it so we can vote.
Okay, I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Motion's been made, seconded. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
Yeah, I mean, I am concerned about the added cost. We've done a great job of maintaining the budget, keeping our costs in line, and I know that since it's not in the budget right now, we're really struggling with the added cost. That's my comment. Jim?
Nothing to add. Anyone from the audience have a question, concern, or comment regarding the cost of living increase for current retirees? Seeing none, we can call question and move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the cost of living increase, signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay. That motion is, I don't know, denied, defeated? Defeated. Next. Moving to item C, authorizing the advertisement of the organization and general business meeting dates of January 5th, 2026. Jasmine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second-class township code requires the Board of Supervisors to organize on the first Monday of the year, unless that day is a legal holiday. Staff recommends that the board schedule their organization meeting on Monday, January 5th at 6:30, followed by the general business meeting at 7 p.m.
Make a motion to authorize the advertisement of the organization meeting on Monday, January 5th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. and the general meeting at 7 o'clock p.m. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Or coincidental. Interesting. Questions or concerns about January 5th, 2026, the meeting date? Sonny, I'm assuming you're good with that?
I'll be here.
All right. Maybe you won't, so we're not going to ask you. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the advertisement of the organization meeting on Monday, January 5th, 2026, 6:30, general meeting at 7 o'clock, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Julian, your attendance will be required. Sure. Moving to motion D, authorizing the advertisement of the auditor's organization meeting date of January 6th, 2026. Yes.
Thank you once again, Mr. Chairman. The second-class township code also requires the Board of Auditors to organize the day after the organization meeting of the Board of Supervisors. Staff recommends that the Board of Auditors schedule their organization meeting on Tuesday, January 6th at 10 a.m.
I'll make a motion authorizing the advertisement for the auditor's organization meeting to be held on Tuesday, January 6th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Thanks, Sonny. Questions or concerns? God, no. All those in favor of the motion authorizing the advertisement for the auditor's organization meeting on January 6th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Motion E, authorizing volunteer fire department recruitment and retention stipends. Done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of Fire Commissioner Peter Chris, that's not here today, looking to get the funds distributed that's allocated in the 2025 budget in a total amount of $141,284 for distribution to 3 volunteer fire companies in Upper Macungie Township based on their volunteer participation in training and emergency responses. $32,699 to Fogelsville, $70,487 to the Goodwill Fire Company, number 1 of Trexlertown, and $38,098 to Upper Macungie Township Station 56.
Make a motion to authorize the payment of stipends to the volunteer fire companies for the year 2025 in the following amounts. Fogelsville Fire Station number 8, $32,699. Goodwill Fire Company number 1 of Trexlertown, $70,487. And UMT Station number 56, $38,098 for a total of $141,284. Boy, I'm having a hard time with dollars today.
I'm gonna second it anyway. So.
All right, go ahead. Thank you for not making me say it 3 times. I appreciate that.
No one needs that. Anyone have questions or concerns about this motion? Nothing?
No, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm sure. None from me, anyone from the audience? Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of authorizing the payment of stipends to the several volunteer fire companies of Upper Macungie Township for year 2025 in a total amount of $141,284, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Motion F, authorizing the purchase of an audio-visual system for the Upper Macungie Township Community Lifestyle Center. Mr. Griffiths.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This motion is before you to authorize the purchase of various TV units, mounting units, speakers, associated wiring, microphones, sound bars, et cetera, for various spaces within the community center. We met with ESG, which is the township and CoStar's vendor, to come up with this price for the community center and what it's going to allow us to do flexibility-wise in the track area, the multi-purpose spaces, community rooms, staff offices, and sound systems.
I make a motion to authorize the purchase and installation of a fully engineered audiovisual system for the UMT Community Lifestyle Center by CoStar's vendor ESG Systems LLC in the amount of $339,898.11.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
That's gonna be quite a sound system, I guess.
Yeah, good base.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't violate any noise ordinances. That's good.
No.
Okay, we okay with that? All
I don't know,
right.
I actually hope it does.
You want it to be?
I want it to be loud.
That's all I have.
Jim, anything?
No, good.
Ryan, this is in the budget for the center generally? We planned for this.
But this is part of the allowances and contingency funding part of that project, which is still at about $1.8 million.
All right, so we planned for such an expensive system. Perfect. Anyone from the audience have any questions about the thumping bass that will be coming out of the community center? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize and purchase and install a fully engineered audiovisual system in the amount of $339,898.11, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Ryan. We're gonna keep with you off the motion G, authorizing the purchase and installation of interior furniture for the community lifestyle center.
Yep, so this is a motion for various furniture for the staff offices, conference room, lobby area, flexible furniture that we can configure the 3 multi-purpose spaces, whether it's for a birthday party, a group gathering, or business meeting, and then also all the furniture for the cafe area, indoor seating as well. And like Bob said, this is part of the contingencies and things we had already planned for with the budget.
I make a motion to authorize purchase and installation of interior furniture for the UMT Community Lifestyle Center by CoStar's vendor SDS Innovative Interiors in the amount of $131,058.13.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns? Sonny?
No.
Ben?
Good.
I don't have anything. Anyone from the audience have questions about the furniture? It's gonna be comfortable, we promise. Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the purchase and installation of interior furniture in the amount of $131,058.13, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Ryan. Last motion, motion H, authorizing the township manager to send a letter to Senator Jared Coleman opposing Pennsylvania Senate Bill 939 as usurping local municipal zoning control. Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is a bill pending in Harrisburg that would allow, the exact term, but high impact data centers not to be under local municipal control, zoning, or land development, but rather be allowed through the state level. We just feel zoning is a local issue, it should remain local. We have enough tools to work with in the MPC, and we should be left to use them. So we're just wanting to request the board support and not supporting that legislation.
I'll make that motion. Motion to authorize the township manager to send a letter to Senator Jared Coleman opposing PA SB 939 as usurping local municipal zoning control.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns? Sonny?
No, I just, obviously, I know a lot of people that were here tonight regarding our zoning amendment. I mean, this amendment would be at risk if this bill went through. So I would encourage all of you, if you were concerned enough to show up here, also write a letter to your congressman to make sure that in order for us to do this job for you, that we are allowed to have local control. So thank you.
Jim?
I'm good.
I'm gonna echo what Sonny said. Local control and zoning control is important. Anyone from the audience have questions or concerns? Scott?
Is that happening in other states? I'm just curious. Yeah, so it is the first time hearing it. This is the first time hearing this. Is this happening in other states? Do we know? I mean, that sounds ridiculous.
Don't know. What this particular bill is aimed at, I believe it's at 50 megawatt data centers or higher. and it's trying to encourage them, and in doing so, trying to loosen any local municipal regulation of them, specifically with regards to setbacks, among other things.
Yeah.
So we are, as Sunny indicated, as Bob indicated, trying to make sure that our state senator knows that with regard to these things, we want control in our township of these applications.
I would just add, I think the intent is to fast track these data centers, and so that's obviously, I think from what we've heard today, you're all here because you're not in favor of that. So I would encourage that other than we made this statement, that you could back it up. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the township manager to send a letter of opposition to Senator Jerry Coleman regarding Pennsylvania SB 939, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. The last motion. That ends the count of the Jim's motion career is over.
Adjourn.
Oh, we can adjourn. We're not gonna let it do that. We're gonna keep this meeting going forever. We're at board and staff reports. Monthly department reports are available at the back of the room and have been posted on the township website. So we'll go through as we normally do and see what all they have to say. Michelle. Nothing? You just made sure the microphone captured you saying nothing. Doug. That's just something. Doug.
We're in the holiday season, so those of you that do have Christmas trees, just make sure you have real trees, you're watering them, making sure you're taking care of that so we don't have any other fire safety issues or anything with that. Also, make sure you're using extension cords and multi-plugged appropriately. If you need help on that, please reach out to the fire departments and they can give you more information along those lines on how to do it and what to do properly to make everything safe. And also with that, it has been a colder season already so far in the winter time, so some people are going to be using alternative heating sources. If you need information on that, please reach out to the fire departments again. We can provide information on that to help keep everybody safe. This is normally the time of the year where we see an increase in fire due to people using alternative heating sources. So please reach out to your local fire departments for assistance, or come to the township and get in touch with the Bureau of Fire, and we'll gladly help you out as well.
In case anyone wasn't aware, Doug's part of the team that does our daytime staffing program through Station 57 as part of his job here at Bureau of Fire. There are 6 of you.
Correct.
Daytime staff members here. And the daytime response to our fire calls has been dramatically reduced, in no small part to the efforts of you and your team. So I'll make sure that we take a moment to thank you. We don't normally get to see you at meetings. Thank you and the team for the daytime staffing and everything that you do to keep up the country residents safe. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pete Nickenshirt here on behalf of Chief Satoshi, who's under the weather. Just very briefly, on November 18th, the Lehigh County Chiefs of Police Association held a commendation ceremony where 10 Upper Macungie Township police officers received awards ranging from merit to life-saving. These officers were nominated for these awards by their peers. The officers receiving awards included Officer Timothy Peters, Officer David Fritsch, Sergeant Matthew Gardner, Officer David Gilbert, Officer Anna Kahn, Officer Riley Miller, Officer Edwin Fernandez, and Sergeant David Schlegel. If I may, I'd like to briefly highlight an incident for which Officer Jack Sassaman received a certificate of commendation. On July 21st, 2024, Officer Jack Sassaman responded to a residence where a male was in respiratory distress. The 911 caller for this incident was the victim's 10-year-old son, who had been lying in bed with his father when his father lost consciousness. When Officer Sassaman arrived at the residence, he observed rotting food, cat feces, and squalid conditions. According to Officer Sassaman's supervisor, he observed Officer Sassaman comfort the boy as paramedics worked to save the father's life. Sassaman and the boy talked about video games, which helped calm the child during the ordeal. After the father was transported to the hospital, Sassaman left the home and continued on with his shift. He later found out that the father had passed away that night. In reflecting on his conversation with the boy, Sassaman recalled that the child had mentioned wanting a particular gaming system. After receiving permission from the boy's mother, Stassman then went on and used his own personal funds to buy the system for the child. We're very proud of all of our officers. Congratulations to the award winners. Jim, thank you for your service to the community. It's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you.
Same for me.
Thank you.
I don't think we need to say too much more, Pete, about the work that the Upper Country Police Department does for us, and Officer Stassman's story is really reflective of it. Police force, it's not just a job, it's really a calling to what they do, so we thank you. Please extend our congratulations to the accommodated members of your team, and thank you for coming, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have two things, Mr. Chairman. First, Lehigh County Farmland Preservation Board has informed me that Ms. Christine Youth Whitby at 1409 Dorney Road has requested to put 25.1 acres into ag security. So the county is going to proceed working with her. There's no need for any board action at this time, but if certain funds be requested, I would come back to the board for that request. The next item is I met with Ms. Griffiths regarding blue zone opportunities. Sonny, you had mentioned something about getting engaged with them. They are willing to work with us. Blue Zone offers healthy lifestyles for employees and residents of the Blue Zone. That's something we're going to explore further for township workers and with the community sector. Community engaged.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this.
And also, Mr. Brunel, Supervisor Brunel, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Bob.
It's my pleasure.
See you.
I have just two things, actually three. There was an executive session held today at 5:30, and the topic discussed was legal matters. This being the final meeting of the year, I just wanted to thank everyone that has participated with all of the new things that are coming out, as well as staff. I can say that our staff, every time I need help, we need help. We all pull together, be it answering a question that I may not know. We all work together to make sure that we're getting the responses out there, and we're trying to make this as good as a place to live as it is to play. So I thank everyone, including staff and our residents, for everything that you guys do. And Jim, thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jess.
Thanks, Jasmine. Meredith.
I just want to thank you for authorizing the agreement with Codometrics so that we can move the zoning rewrite forward. It's really important for us to get past the finish line, so thank you. And thank you, Jim. You'll be missed.
Thank you.
Andrew.
I'm going to skip over, because of the time, my normal updates, but I just want to thank Jim for your leadership, guidance, service, and confidence in me. You've never been opinionated. You've always been very even-tempered throughout your reign. But seriously, you led the township through tremendous growth and left it in great hands. I remember when you first started coming to the meetings, you'd always stand up and question the bills and say, how can this township be spending $1 million a month in its bills? And now I'm looking at 7.7 million. So that just demonstrates the growth, along with, monuments such as the community center. So I want to thank you for your service, and wish you nothing but the best, and hope to see you come in here smiling and happy in the future as a resident. And as Jasmine said, it's the last meeting of the year, so I wish everyone happy holidays.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick update on the Green Light Go projects. They are progressing. The site survey along Hamilton, we did receive the results just earlier this week. So our staff is working with the township and your signal contractor on that. So we still anticipate bidding next spring or summer for both. And thank you, Jim. I've enjoyed getting to know you the last 12 months, and I just want to enjoy some time away.
Thank you.
The ever talkative Scott.
Just want to update lead collectors. We will be running next week. So push it back a little bit for the next 2 months. And for Jim, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to make it out there. 12 years pretty ugly right now.
A new addition to our department reports, Greta.
Thank you, Jim.
Microphone, Greta. Thank
I
you.
know. Thank you for your service, Jim.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Ryan.
Just a couple of program and event updates. Our Little Athletics program started on November 6th. That's our multi-sport classes for 2 to 6-year-olds. We have 35 participants and a wait list of 6. Our Hootie Hoot Wildlands hike on November 16th had 77 participants with a wait list of 6. And sorry, our Zumo holiday party is already filled with 45 members. So Jeff, you cannot attend. I apologize.
Darn it.
Looking forward to it. Some upcoming announcements. We have helped facilitate with Premier World Travel. We'll be hosting a pre-trip meeting next Tuesday here in the Township Building from 6 to 7. It's an opportunity on our website. We are not running travel trips to the Canadian Rockies or Florence in Italy, but we're helping facilitate the opportunity for our residents. Those would take place in 2026, one in August and one in October. Our Built by Me Lego Robotics STEM Camp will be here on December 22nd and 23rd in the afternoons here in the Township Meeting Room. And we end the year with Kids New Year's Eve at Grange Park on Wednesday, December 31st from 10:30 to 12 p.m. Additionally, we continue to work with our Park and Rec Board on prioritizing our comprehensive park rec and space plan recommendations, getting them through a tour of the Community Lifestyle Center, working on some mobile food vending and park options, and Scott and team just finished up planting 80 trees in Grange Park as a result of our Lehigh Valley Greenways mini grant we received in the summer of 2025. And thank you, Jim. In the short time I've been here, I appreciate all the efforts and support you've given Parks and Recreation.
Thanks, Ryan.
Well, first of all, Jim, thank you for your service. You know, quite frankly, a lot of people, they see the type of work that we all do. It's quite a bit, and 12 years is a lot. And I've known you while I was sitting in the public seating and worked together on a lot of issues. And I want to thank you for your service once again. And Julie, I want to welcome you on board, and I look forward to working with you as well. I also, because it's the holiday season, I wish everybody a very safe and a safe and joyous holiday. Thank you.
And I do something I don't normally do, and I'm going to go before you. But you have the last word, at least from the department reports, Jim. Echo sunny sentiment as we enter a holiday season. Better be safe. To Doug's point, make sure you're being safe at home with the lights and the trees. And for those of us that like candles, just be careful about it. We do have, I can actually read it yet. PSATS has issued a accommodation to you, Jim, for your 12 years of service. I'm going to read that from David Sanko, the Executive Director. On behalf of the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, we extend our warmest congratulations and deepest gratitude for your dedicated years of service to your township. Your commitment to public service has been invaluable. Please accept the enclosed certificate as a small but heartfelt token of their sincere appreciation for your tireless efforts. With dedicated individuals like you having served in Pennsylvania's local government, we can rest assured that the quality of township life will continue to survive and thrive as innovation meets tradition. We're immensely proud of our township officials and staff, and we especially recognize those of you who consistently serve the community year after year. We commend you for a job exceptionally well done. The residents of your township are fortunate to have benefited from your leadership and can take great pride in all that you've accomplished on their behalf. We recognize the sacrifices and hard work that come with serving the public, and your unwavering commitment sets a high standard for all those follow. All the very best in your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Jim, we've shared an office for the last 2 years, which I am thrilled that Julie will have a separate office from me, so I finally get my own space. You have a unique perspective on a lot of things. I've enjoyed getting to know you. I've enjoyed talking to you about issues that are not township related, that are life related. You opened my eyes to making sure that we communicate every day with everybody. Your dedication to your family, to your 2 daughters, to your wife, to your mother. It's remarkable, the fact that you balance that with the demanding job that you have and the demands that this job has taken. It's a credit to the man that you are. So echoing everyone else's sentiments here, thank you for everything. Thank you for helping me become better at this job, for introducing me to all sorts of fun, sarcastically, as a supervisor for Upper Country Township. And I look forward to sharing great with you sometime soon. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's your turn.
My turn. So, where's Sean? His son again told me don't get choked up. It's bittersweet. It's a long time. I am grateful to the residents to allow me to represent them for all these years. Tried to do what's best, tried to make the right decision. And the big takeaway, the hardest thing to leave is truly the people. I can tell you that Upper Mackenzie has the best staff of anybody in this valley in terms of the people working here. The way the finance office manages our funds, the way that the police department polices the streets and takes care of our safety, the way that fire is there every time a 911 call comes in. Go around the room the way Scotty maintains our streets and parks, and everybody here treats it like their own, everybody. And they genuinely care about the place that we're living in, even though a lot of them don't come, they're coming from another residence, they don't live within the township. They work very, very hard and do a great job. And I'd like to thank them. It's humbling to watch. It's impressive. And last but not least, Bob, you have been, man, what a.
Thank you.
What a great leader for the township. Your knowledge and ability to get through stuff emotionless, should I say, or without anger, maybe it's a better way to put it. Patience is spot on. You've taught me a lot. In fact, everybody here has. So, yeah, it's been fun. You guys, thank you. Had fun. Kathy, you sucked me into this. Son of a gun.
I do have a comment.
Yeah, you sucked me into this. So, I'm done. Thank you all.
We will open the floor to public comment first for, let's see. Kathy.
You saved me. You came to office at a time when I was
You were getting beat up.
on the board. And at a time when we desperately needed a township manager because of the rate we were growing. And I think it was your first meeting. We put you in as chairman of the board, and we also voted to do a search for a township manager. You did a great job. And then with Sean, we did a lot of good stuff, in my opinion. The community center was one, working with the fire companies,
Yeah.
all of that. We didn't always agree, but we always got along. Have a great retirement.
Thank you so much, man. I love you.
Yeah, Chuck.
I have three things. I'll make them quick. First of all, I would like to know when the Community Lifestyle Center opens, are they going to honor Silver Seekers programs?
Yes.
Yes.
He's nodding his head. Yeah.
The second thing I have, I would like to thank the township for letting the fire company and the police department do traffic control on October the 4th when the Corey and Kimberly motorcycle run occurred. That day allowed us, we raised and gave out $18,500 that day. Going forward, the Corey and Kimberly ride is now a nonprofit entity where we don't need to pay somebody 10% of our money to carry on. Our 10th anniversary will be next year, and we'll be looking for your help again. Third thing, thank you, Jim. You were definitely a leader in this township for many. You will be missed. Hopefully, everybody carries on with the thought in mind of taking care of the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm April Navarre, I live in Bridensville. I'm gonna try and take your meeting back to a moment of seriousness. I do have something prepared. If you'd like to share these, hand out. Okay. So I live in the Whispering Farms neighborhood, and I have seen a growing issue. I've reached out to Officer Nickisher and Bob Ibach and Ally from zoning with regards to this. There's a growing issue with trucks parking in our community. It's bordered by Schaefer Run runs through our community, and there are tractor trailers. There are full-length tractor trailers, flatbeds with one in particular that has a
Penske. Is this the Penske logo?
yes. So and several others parking on a nightly basis. Before I came here, I drove through the community. There were 5. So this is a regular situation that I think needs to be addressed. Obviously, we know that the streets aren't big enough to accommodate this. I sent some pictures over that has evidence of it cutting the curb and damaging the curb in front of one home, a lady I know. Diesel engines allowed. They produce a lot of negative emissions. The weight of the trucks are gonna damage our roads. The large Penske truck that parks on Windmill reduces the roadway to such that to one-way traffic. It's a hazard. We have a lot of children in the neighborhood. We have a lot of young drivers because they're all coming of age. And it's just only gonna grow because, it's a new community and now they're all growing up. Snow removal will be compromised. It's unsightly. It's going to lower the value of our homes. Having trucks is only going to invite more trucks. Truckers, I witnessed, they throw their trash. They throw their urine-filled bottles out into the side. I'd like to get a handle on this before it becomes a problem. I've investigated some of the ordinances, and the only ordinance I could find that really addresses this is that tractor trailers are not permitted on Schaefer Run Road. In order to get into the community, the only way is Schaefer Run Road from either direction. So that's a violation of ordinance. So I could not find a direct ordinance that says that tractor trailers are not permitted in the neighborhood, with or without a trailer. Since the township is rewriting ordinances, I would really greatly appreciate it if such an ordinance would be included in the township rules. I've written and put in this document some suggestion. Perhaps that would work. And not only to include tractor trailers, but also oversized box trucks.
First, April, you picked the wrong meeting to have a quick public comment. It's now 9:15.
I know. Hey, it wasn't my fault you guys were lengthy.
Remind us next time, and we'll make sure we have the noise ordinance conversation while you're here too. So thank you for your patience with us tonight to get the public comment. Bob did share your email to him and to Pete with us before tonight. I know that some corrective actions on the police side, which is really the monitoring issue that we have to rely on at this point. But I do think talking about and perhaps putting in the mix of putting together some sort of ordinance about.
Can look at the truck restriction ordinances.
Yeah, tractor trailer parking on public streets in residential neighborhoods might be something that we can put together, which would give the police an additional tool instead of relying on circumstantially that they were on the wrong road.
Right.
It gives them a more direct, the direct citation tool. So that's something that we'll put in the mix to consider. It's not really a zoning ordinance, it's a flat ordinance, but something that we can talk about, and please follow up with us, hold us to it.
Sure.
But again,
Were you aware of this?
I was part of the email chain, yes.
I didn't want to blindside you.
No,
So I didn't have
appreciate
emails
it.
for everybody, so.
Yep, no, we appreciate it very much, thank you. And we'll
All right.
continue our
You
communication.
know, some people have said, oh, call the police when you see it, and I'm like, I'm a first responder. I can't be calling 911 or the police for non-emergency situations.
Well, the information you provided us was very helpful, photographs,
Thank
and
you, I tried.
so it gives us at least a starting point,
Sure.
so much appreciated.
Okay. Has there been any progress in it to date?
So I think when I talked to Lieutenant Reader, the idea was we were going to start by obviously identifying these companies and making contact with the companies. I think that's where we're at this point. But I'll see him tomorrow morning,
All right,
get an update and see what's going on.
great, thanks.
Welcome.
All right, Jim, thank you for your service.
Thank you, April.
We didn't really quite get to know each other very well, but.
Yeah, we were on the rec board together.
A little bit, yes. Well, I'm glad we're getting the community center
Yes.
done before I qualify for Silver Shooters. Hopefully we'll have pool before then too.
Thank you. Had to go there.
You do it so well, April. Anyone else from the public on public comment? Yes, please.
Yeah, I have a formal request in the police department. So, I only missed one meeting this year. And in every meeting, we mention the word noise a few dozen times. But yet we don't report out on how many people violate the noise ordinance. Now that it's in place, we spend a lot of time on that. We do report disturbing the peace, but I would like to see how many people violate, just quantify, 10 or 15 or 20 or many people.
A noise ordinance complaint is not always to the police. It's like a code. If you're talking about our noise ordinance,
Yes.
the code enforcement officer that does that, that's not police. That's not the police department, that's staff.
Okay,
That's a zoning officer, right?
zoning
That's
officer.
its code enforcement officer.
Code enforcement
So we
officer.
have a zoning
Okay, so I don't know how many times the noise ordinance was violated, I go to the zoning officer.
Once.
Once since August.
Pardon me?
Once
Once
since
since
August.
August.
Wow. Which means we didn't do it right. Which means we didn't do it correctly, because there's a lot of noise out there.
Either that or it's not as bad as
Oh, no,
it's not all that bad.
that's for the next meeting.
Please. I'm now looking forward to January that much more. Anyone else? Lovely.
Would you like to take the honors motion? Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second for that?
I will second that.
All right, look at that. They get along after all. Motion's been made, second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jim, you are done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.